Hey guys, welcome back to the KULLYCO YouTube channel where we do all things fabrication, engineering, and design. I'm really excited for today's video as we're diving into the KULLYCO shop truck project. So this project is going to encompass a static lowering kit, front and rear. So we're going to do drop spindles and drop springs in the front and a flip kit in the rear. We'll do new front rotors, new brake lines, and of course, new wheels and tires. So this is my first time doing a project on a C10, but I've wanted one of these because I think they're the perfect shop truck. I'm gonna take you guys on the entire project with me. I'm gonna tell you what products and components I went with. Hopefully we can all learn something here, and then at the end, my aim is to have a pretty cool truck. So let's get started. We've removed all the stock components. We took off the stock rotors and pads. The stock spindles are out. We took the springs out. We knocked all the ball joints loose, which can be a little tricky. If you just put a little pressure on it with like a pry bar and then just give it a few taps with a solid hammer, it'll kind of bust that tapered fit loose. So now that we've got all the stock parts removed, we'll kind of look it all over, inspect things, give it a good clean, and then we'll start assembling the new components. All right guys, now we're getting to the fun stuff. We're gonna go over all the different products that I chose for this project. We're gonna look at the spindles, the flip kit, the wheels and tires, and whatever else I got laying out here. Let's check it out. My total static drop is going to be a 5.5 in the front and a 7 in the rear. And how you achieve the 5.5 in the front is 2.5 inches with the spindle and 3 inches with the drop spring. I went with the 2.5 inch modular drop spindle from CPP. One thing to be mindful of when you're using the CPP drop modular spindle is it's actually going to pull the track width in on the front wheels about a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch. Your front tires are actually going to sit in, so make sure when you're ordering your wheels, adjust your offsets accordingly if that's what you want to do. I actually decided to leave my offset stock on my front wheels because I wanted them tucked in a little bit. I wanted that turning ability inside the front fender well. Here's the 3-inch drop spring. Nothing special to look at here, but a nice black spring from CPP. And that's where you get your additional 3 inches of drop in the front. Flip kit in the rear, I went with a 7-inch drop. We'll get the majority of the drop, around 6 inches, by flipping the rear end on top of the leaf springs. Then we will get that additional inch by using 1-inch aluminum blocks in between the rear end and the leaf springs. Actually, your C-notch kit here. This is a bolt-in kit, not a weld-in kit. There's a big C-notch that will get bolted up in the frame so you can get that travel back after you lower it. New rotors, steering components, new tie rod ends, brake calipers and pads, bearings, seals, brake lines, brake fittings, and some other stuff that isn't quite as fun. So let's move on to the most important part, the wheels and tires. I decided to go with 20-inch Halabrand Sprint wheels. Halabrands are a very classic wheel that are extremely timeless in my opinion and look good across a lot of platforms. Hot rods, trucks, drag racing. There they are. Matte gray. I did a 20 by 8.5 on the front, a 20 by 10 in the rear. You can see it's dished a little bit more in the rear. And then I'm gonna wrap them in these Toyo tires over here. I did a 275/50 20 on the rear. It's a little dirty. I'm gonna clean those up when we mount them. And then I did a 255/45 20 on the front. Should look really nice together. How the press work. So I just wanted to show you guys all the new components before we put the wheels on. Rotors, calipers, pads. You can see the new ball joints. There's the upper ball joint, new springs, new lower ball joints, new tie rod ends, new spindles, of course, new steering arm, new brake lines, all new. The front is done. I don't want to show you up close yet. I know you can kind of see it, but it is slammed. With the 5.5 total drop in the front, when we let it off the jack, I'm like, whoa, that looks so good. It might even be slightly too slammed in terms of tire clearance, but we're gonna cross that bridge when we get there. So I'm gonna wait till the end of the video, till the front and the back is done, to show you the total drop and the new wheels and tires are on. But for now, it's time to dive into the rear. Let's get that done so we can get this project complete. We're gonna start by unbolting the shocks back here, unbolting all the U-bolts to get rid of that bump stop there, as that's right where the C-notch kit is gonna be installed. And then you can see the exhaust is gonna become a problem for us soon. So we're gonna cut the exhaust, and when the project is done, I will rebuild the exhaust around the rear end. All right, so we've got the rear end unbolted. We cut out all the bump stops on the frame to open that area up where we're gonna do the C-notch. We cut the exhaust off. It looks pretty crude right now. I'll give you a little update here on the back of the truck. We actually did a lot of work and I didn't film very much of it, so I'm just gonna show you everything that we did. We actually flipped the rear end. We have the 1-inch blocks in there, the saddles, the new U-bolts, everything's in, so check it out. You can see all new U-bolts. There's our 1-inch spacer to give us that additional inch of lowering in the back. There's the new saddles, all new hardware, of course. And that should give us a total of 7 inches of drop in the back. You can see the rear end is now flipped on the other side of the leaf springs. Stock truck, the rear end is underneath the leaf springs for you that are not familiar with this process. Right, so we've got the lines all marked out for the C-notch, and we're gonna start cutting the frame. So we've got the second C-notch cut up in the frame here, and we're gonna take the bolt-in kit, slide it up where it's supposed to go, and then I'm just gonna take C-clamp, clamp it in for now, and then mark all the holes. We'll drill them and get it bolted in. Back is done. C-notch kit installed on both sides, bolted in. It turned out really nice. It looks pretty good. Everything else is done in the back, the rear end flip. We're ready to rock. All right guys, the project is complete and we're about to check it out. Of course, it all took longer than I initially anticipated, as once we had it dropped down to its ride height, I ran into another problem. I realized I had no tire clearance on the inner fenders, so the last 3 or 4 days I've been reworking the inner fenders, kind of lifting them up in the front and rebuilding them to get more tire clearance underneath. Unfortunately, I didn't capture content around that, but it's done now. I have tire clearance and we're ready to drive. Let's check this thing out. right, guys, that's gonna wrap up this video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you were able to get some value out of the video and learn something, as I know I did. I'm very happy with the end result of this truck. I think it's gonna be a really fun driver. I'll get some driving footage of the truck soon and post that up in an upcoming video. For now, this truck project is complete, and we'll see you back on the KULLYCO YouTube channel very soon. See you later.